And welcome back to another episode of Cat's Cup Podcast. You're here with Christian, Cody, and we've got two special guests. One is from the greatest stat farm you can ever think of. It's Jake. And then we have Janson. I can't remember your last name right now. I'm blanking on it. Yes. From Cats Coverage, he is the greatest beat reporter in God's green earth, reporting from the left and to the right of the country. We got them both here tonight with us to talk about the Cats. How we doing tonight, boys?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Living the dream. Is that an okay hat?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got that retro.
UK,
going.
bring it back. UK, bring it back. UK, please bring it
We
back.
need it.
UK, bring it, please. Thank you. Love you.
So, none of us really had a good weekend this past weekend. I'll be honest. I'm pretty sure
No.
all of our favorite NFL teams lost too, didn't they?
Who are you a fan of, Jansen?
Yeah.
The Titans.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you didn't have an NFL team, or was it the NBA team you didn't have? And you
I was like a free agent in the NBA, and
okay?
so yeah. But no, I've been a Titans fan since Levis got there. So
Got you.
Okay, that's
I like
solid.
the Titans. My favorite teams in the NFL would have to go Panthers, Bengals, Titans. Is how I would have to go on it. But
I was a Colts fan for probably 16 years, and I
really?
I quit. Their general manager is a joke, so I gave that up. So I
What's
started
his name?
Ballard? No,
Chris
that's,
Ballard?
Chris Ballard.
Is that his name?
Yep.
I believe so.
Who's the owner? That's who I'm thinking of. What's his name?
Oh,
Okay, Tommy, we get it. But speaking of Tommy, let me just give a little shout out to Tommy's Tailgating Services.
Dude.
The greatest tailgate you can think of ever. I mean, it's just magnificent atmosphere, great food, great people, and it's just an awesome time. So go give Tommy a call at 606
something.
for Tommy's Tailgating Service. He can hook you up.
Google's the thing.
Telling you, Tommy may have one of the greatest tailgates. I won't lie.
No, we appreciate Tommy. He's a great
Yeah,
great guy, and always lets us come to his tailgate. And it's
Tommy's
just
the
always
best.
fun. Yeah, Tommy's the best. But all right, boys, we gotta talk about it. Let's get to it. South Carolina came into town and just mollywopped us. Came into the Kroger and just was like, "We don't care about your grocery store. We're stealing everything." They walked in, took the Doritos, the Cheetos, and everything.
They took Cheetos.
And Gina says Tommy only loves the truck. That's a fact. Gina is
It's
the
Gina's
best.
tailgate.
Yeah, it's Gina's tailgate.
Yeah, that sounds more accurate. Come to think about it. Yeah.
No, they're awesome, both of them. Tommy, you guys are always welcome. We appreciate it. But Jansen, I know that you are locked and loaded. Want to talk about this game? Let's hear it.
So, I am a media member and all that through Cats coverage and things like that. But when it comes to football, I've been a season ticket holder for going on 10 years now. Basically the whole tenure of Martin Stoops' era. And it was just, I don't know. I've seen a lot of bad losses, in my years, and even before I was a season ticket holder, just watching it on TV. But there was just something different about that game last Saturday. I don't know. It was just, I've never seen the air come out of the stadium that quick in all my years of being a fan, a media member, all that stuff. It was like, I even had people saying it was like the game versus Oakland. And I'm not trying to compare it to basketball, but that's kind of how it felt like. It's like you're seeing something that you only see so many years, It's like the end of an era.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, man. It's me and Cody's talked about this quite a bit here lately. And I think there's a lot of fans on that train, and it's just like you said, it feels like it's coming to the end of an era. Um, I hate it because Stoops has done so much for the program. Like, I mean, from where it was when he took over to where it is now, it looks like two different programs. But yet, I mean, it kind of felt like it was the same program on Saturday. And, I mean, even going into the season, you really didn't hear much from Stoops. And then last year, November 25th, he takes the job at Texas A&M, and then they pull the offer from him, quote unquote. Yeah, but I mean, like, it's like, you don't take that, allegedly take the job if you're not thinking elsewhere. So Cody, let's hear your thoughts on it.
I mean, do we replace John Calipari with Mark Pope? Do we replace a Mark with a John? Who knows? Hopefully they beat Oklahoma this weekend. You guys can go do your little research. But it's so aggravating as a Kentucky fan. We've gotten to I've gotten to the point where I buy the hype every year. We got such a talented team. We're going to win 10 seeds. We're going to win 10 games. We're going to win 9 games. And what happens? We fall apart every single time we lose the first game. And I don't know what it is. We can never seem we can't beat Tennessee. We've had Louisville's number for the past 5 years. We can't even beat a SEC West team away. Or I mean, when they come like Mississippi State, when they come to Lexington, we'd always beat them. But that's a normal for us though. But we don't have to play them this year. But it just seems like our standard for the past couple of years has been if we win 6 games, 7 games, 8 games, that's fine. And I'm at the point where I'm like kind of tired of just winning 8 games. I spend all this money on jerseys and all this stuff, tickets and gas to get to the games to go watch you, and you're only going to give me eight games. I mean, a lot of people do that. I mean, that's crappy in my opinion to just make that the standard of what your football program is. But that's just how I feel on it.
Agree.
Yeah.
What about you, Jake?
I actually went to that game, and you guys know I don't go to many games. I don't have the chance to go to many games. But walking out of that game, I could not think of a worse loss probably since November 3rd, 2012. And for those of you that don't know what that game was, that was when we played Vanderbilt in Joker Phillips's last year. We lost to Vanderbilt 40-0. I'd say that was the worst loss we've had since that point. And I mean, there's going to be ups and downs. If we lose to a LSU team that we're not supposed to beat, if we don't really play well against the team that we're not supposed to play well against, you walk out of the stadium thinking, okay, it's not the end of the world. But that was a game you should have won. That was a game that could have put Kentucky in the right direction at least. And, I mean, they just blew it on all aspects of the game, I can't really think of one aspect of the game where they just really played consistently well. I mean, I just can't. And this is a team, really, South Carolina did not play all that amazing. I mean, they didn't really have to do much to beat us. We just played that awful. And you think about the rest of the schedule. Of course, the number 1 team in the nation coming to Kroger Field next week. We've also got Texas this year. We've got Tennessee this year. We have Ole Miss on the road this year. That's 4 top 10 teams in a span of probably 6 weeks. And it's going to be a brutal season if we keep playing like that. But, hey, for all we know, we may play better as each week goes on. Mm-hmm. But there has to be some type of change in the season. I'm not giving up on them yet, but they've got a lot of changing to do.
Yeah, I mean, like the offensive line, that was awful. Like, I mean, it was like Swiss cheese. It looked like you threw like middle schoolers out there. Like, I mean, I hate to say it that way, but it was awful, man. Like, Marquise Cox or Marquez Cox had a 5.1 PFS grade.
Did anybody else know that was a thing? I didn't even know it got that low.
I didn't either.
I
Like,
didn't
bro,
know
I
it
thought,
got that low.
Like, where I have a Browns podcast too, and we usually harp on, like Jake knows, we harp on these PFF grades.
We do.
And, like usually if a guy does bad, I mean, every once in a while, like Tommy Togiai, like a guy that wasn't really that good on the defensive line for the Browns, like he would average anywhere from about like 30s to like 50s. And I thought that was as low as it got, was like 30. When I saw 5, I thought there was an error in the top, like the message. Like I thought there was an error on that tweet that like posted that out. And I was like, there's no way. And then I looked it up and it was correct.
Yeah.
So, like, guys, like, I mean, I know it's obvious, but how worried are we on this offensive line?
I mean, we talked about it all off season. That was the one worry that we all had going into the season. They look great against Southern Miss, but again, you're supposed to look good against teams like that. You have to look good.
Yep.
You're going to.
Yeah.
But I mean, like Christian said, you look like they threw a middle school offensive line out there, and I mean, they were rolling all over us. Now, dude, I know they've got one freshman DN, but don't they have another one on the other side? Isn't he a freshman as well? I'm not sure on that, but I know the one that played good was a freshman. I can't think of his name, but that was the one that was on Marquise Cox. I mean, he was doing whatever he wanted with him. That's why his grade was so low. But I mean, absolutely. I mean, that might be one of the worst performances on the offensive line that I've ever seen.
He made Marcus. I'm sorry, I apologize.
No, go ahead. No,
like a freshman.
He did 100%, and he's supposed to be one of our best linemen, most experienced besides Eli. So, and I'll be honest with you, I think Eli probably played the best out of the whole group.
Yeah,
I would give Eli that best offensive lineman the whole week.
So, what are your thoughts on it, Janson?
I was going to say, if it wasn't Eli Cox, Dylan Ray, he come in and he played some good snaps. He held his own there for a while, especially considering, he's not getting as many snaps as some of these, veteran guys. He held his own in a SEC game. I don't know. I don't know how to get my thoughts and opinions on it. My biggest worry is, I've seen so many different things about Alabama's offensive line rating last year. It was one of the worst in the SEC.
Yeah. And
Mark Stoops thought, that's what we need. We need one. That's our guy right there. And I'm not saying that it's 100% Eric Wolford's fault. It might be the pieces that are around. Maybe they're not doing the fundamentals. Clearly they're not. Whose fault that is, I don't know. But something's got to change. Maybe if not next week, especially when you're getting to week 4 and going on the road at Ole Miss. I mean, something's got to change by then.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. Like I don't know how we get I hate talking about this. Offensive line coach coming back from Alabama, where he had probably arguably one of the best offensive lines last year. Now coming to watch that poop show last week. I hate talking about it because I just get a little aggravated. But I mean,
it's a head scratcher for sure.
It really don't make any sense. I mean, when you look at it, that offensive line should have been close or top 10 in the country the way they built it, and especially the amount of experience that offensive line has doesn't make any sense to me how you do that bad. But I mean, I know you have your bad game, but I mean that must have been.
The thing is like they weren't really blitzing much either. Like a lot of times they were just rushing 4.
Exactly, it was 3 or 4, and they were still getting pressure. Like Brock had no time.
Yeah,
and I know Brock threw a pick 6, and I think he had another pick. I can't really remember, but I don't really want to blame him all on him. Really, I mean, for one, he didn't have any time. 2. After getting hit so many times there consistently, I mean, you're going to be worrying about oh, where's this guy coming? Is he gonna come from in front of me? Is he gonna come from behind me? You can't really focus on what you're trying to accomplish and throwing the ball to other people. So I get that, and I still have a lot of faith in this team. Let me just say that before I get too far ahead of myself. I think this team does have a lot they can prove. We just got to hope that our coaching staff gets them prepared enough to be able to put them in good positions. So
yeah. So we have a comment here before we continue. It says, "Hi, wave, handsome." So, I think I don't know. Is that
I'm
that's
married.
a bot.
huh?
I think that's a bot.
I think that might be for Cody or Jake.
I don't
Yeah,
even
I'm
know who
married,
that
so
is.
it's good.
I'm married.
So Marcus Cox with the 5.1.
Jake, you're not good at compliment.
I'm trying to figure out this lineman situation. You guys went in the left. Who's Hamlin?
Yeah, we've got a bot.
Oh,
we got a bot.
We've made it, boys. We've got bots.
Yes.
That's Cut podcast.
Okay, Marcus Cox. Is he not a 6th year, 7th year player?
6th year.
Yeah.
6th year. You have been playing college football for 6 years. And what was the PFF grade? Like 5.81?
No, 5.1.
5.1. I mean, not that much of a difference.
Don't give him that 7/10.
Yeah, don't give him that extra credit. No, I'm kidding.
That's pretty embarrassing. If I had been in college playing football for 6 years and that happened to me, I would be like, I wouldn't want to play football ever again.
Oh, so apparently the comment was somebody replying to people in our chat in the chats on Facebook. So
Oh, no.
we've gotten rid of it, but we've gotten rid of the bots. We blocked them. We
They were
blocked the
bots.
bots better. They thought we were the offensive line from Saturday, but we held our own and we hit the block.
Oh, I see it now.
Yeah, I took care of it.
Yeah, we
Yikes. Okay.
So I want to add one more thing real quick. I'm doing a little bit more. I'm trying to reach out and do a little bit more like high school recruiting and stuff like that. More so on the Kentucky front, guys who are interested in coming to Kentucky and people who Kentucky's reached out to. And I had someone, and I can't mention their name, of course, but they reached out to me after the game, and they were like, "What was that?"
Yeah.
And I didn't know how to respond. I'm like, buddy, I don't know. I don't know.
Man, dude, I watch like Josh Pate 247. I don't know if you all ever like watch him or anything. I watch him and like On 3, I forget his name, that guy that does the stuff, but Josh Pate cracked me up. He was just, I think he was like everybody else in the country, like, what did South Carolina just do to Kentucky? Like, because you don't ever see that happen, especially against South Carolina. They don't ever beat us like that. And Josh Pate was like, he goes, I'm kind of embarrassed that I bet on them because I thought they were going to do what South Carolina did to them. Like, I was embarrassed to bet. And I think a lot of people were kind of confused. Like, what the heck did South Carolina come from where they almost got beat by Old Dominion to beating Kentucky 31-6? Like, what in the world did they just did Kentucky? I don't even know. I was speechless too when me and Christian were there. I was just sitting there. I was like I don't know what to say because my mind was just like I didn't know we could play that bad with a roster like that. So I don't know.
So that brings me to my next question, boys. Is the offense in trouble? Is this going to be a long season for the offense? Whoever wants to take it. Jansen, you got it.
I'll start it. I don't think you're not going to see that same offense for 10 more games. Now, I'll just go ahead and say that. I think they will, quote unquote, get it together. What that looks like, I don't know. Now, if you're going to say that it's going to be the same offensive game that we're going to have, back, in Levis's first year in 2021. I doubt it. I just don't see that happening. We don't have the pieces to build around, things like talking about Brock and stuff like that. And it's a real shame because I don't think we're going to see the full potential of Brock Vandergrift this year. And my thing is, even if we don't, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out how to say it. I don't know if he's this 5-star quarterback that everybody said he is or not. But I'm afraid that we won't be able to see that, and that's what I'm worried about.
I get that because like a 5-star. I mean, if he has all this talent, I mean, he could be the greatest quarterback to ever walk on earth. But
Doesn't matter.
If he doesn't have time to go through his reads and go through his progressions and find guys, I mean, it's not going to matter because if he snaps the ball, gets it, and just looks one time, and like, I mean, he's got 3 guys right in his face putting pressure on him, there's not much that you can do. I mean, the only really good thing I saw from this offensive line, I mean, the run block has looked a lot better than the pass block. It looks like a total different offensive line. Like,
that is true.
DSK had 70, 80 yards Saturday. Patterson looked good week 1 and week 2. So I mean, I think we've got something special there with Patterson. But I mean, the run, like you said earlier, I believe, Cody, like it looks like 2 different offensive lines.
Yeah, and I'm kind of with Janson there. I'm a little afraid that we're not going to see how good Brock can be because I think we all know. I think Brock can be one of the better quarterbacks in the country. I really do believe that. But you got to give him time. And I think that I'm hoping that there's a lot that's changed to make the game next week or this Saturday a lot more competitive than last Saturday. And I think that maybe bringing Chip back, I think he's coming back Saturday. I'm not sure. I hope he's not coming back Saturday. Okay, which I think that hurts us a little bit. Not hating on Demi Carnbay or anything, but I think Chip brings a different level of running in that. So,
but before we continue on that, we actually have 2 questions. So the first one we have is from Clyde. He asks, "So what happens if UK goes 5-7 this year?" I'll go first on this one. I don't think Stoops is here. If we go 5-7 this year with all the talent we have and the way they've hopped up this squad nationally and how this is supposed to be one of the better teams that Kentucky's ever had, I don't know if that's Stoops leaves or if Kentucky pulls the plug on like his contract or what goes on there. Or if he just takes another job. Like I don't know. So I mean, I could see him running it back one more year, kind of like the Cal situation, like you said earlier, Jansen. I mean, there's multiple different routes I think they take, but I think that if they do keep him, if we go 5-7 this year, I think he's on a short leash.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
So I'll butt in real quick. I don't. It won't be UK's thing. They're not going to let go. It'll have to be a mutual thing. It'll have to be him say. Stoops does not want to be hated. Nobody does, but like he doesn't. He's been welcomed here for 10+ years, and he doesn't. He has a very successful bourbon company just down the road, and he's got a lot of stuff involved here in Lexington. He does not want that. So there might just come a point where it has to be a mutual thing.
I agree with that too, though. I really do. I do agree with that, but and I'm not like I see a lot of people talking crap about Stoops. Like Stoops ain't never done nothing for us. Yeah, Stoops brought you your program from the ground, literally. Yeah. Like he has made the program a lot better than what it used to be. Now, credit Richard Brooks had the program in a decent spot when he was coaching, but I feel like Mark has done a little bit better than Rich. Also, he's been there longer, so
yeah.
But I do think it might be time for Stoops to be gone, but I do agree with Jansen. I think that it's got to be a mutual thing because I don't think he's going to want to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
What about you, Jake? What are your thoughts on it?
I agree with everything that's been said. If he were to leave, it would be a mutual decision. And if he does leave, we would kind of have to experience another quote unquote rebuild. I don't see us getting a high caliber coach right off the bat that's going to give us this big 8-win, 9-win, 10-win season. We could end up getting a bad hire, or we just get someone that's kind of middle of the line, 6, 6, 7, and 5. It's going to be tough to find someone that's willing to come to Kentucky and keep that culture like the way basketball is. That's the number one problem, really, and truthfully, is that comparison with football, basketball, as far as coaching goes. So, but overall, I'm not more on Christian's side of if he does go 5-7, they'll keep him another year unless there is some mutual agreement there.
I just want to this Clyde Harris says something about Rich Brooks was able to get one major win beating a number 1 LSU team. He did get the win, but when you look at Stoops has taken over the Florida series, which Rich Brooks couldn't do.
Correct.
Stoops has, I think, how many seasons did Rich Brooks win 10 games?
None. 0.
Stoops has done that twice. He is kind of taken back to South Carolina series besides the past 3 years we played them.
Yeah.
I think Stoops has done a lot more than Rich Brooks has, but I do really like the Louisville series. He's taken over the Louisville series. Now, he did have a big win over Louisville that one year.
Mm-hmm.
But Stoops has done it 5 years in a row, and Louisville's had some decent teams those 5 years. He's beaten a Heisman winning quarterback who is now the Baltimore Ravens quarterback, Lamar Jackson.
Fair point.
So I think you got to give it to Stoops when you look at it. The teams that he's beat. Yeah, I mean he's been to bowl games. He's not won when he should have won them.
Yeah,
but
see, here's how I'm kind of looking at it. I mean, like Stoops has been arguably the greatest coach we've ever had. Let's be real. Like, I mean, he's probably been one of the, if he's not the best, he's top 2, top 3.
Top 2.
Yeah. But I kind of feel like it's, if you remember a few years ago, I'm not saying we're going to win a championship or anything like that next year, or if we get a new hire, if anything like that. But it was like, if you guys remember, like Dwayne Casey with the Toronto Raptors. Like the Toronto, before he got there, they were this just bottom tier, kind of mid-average team. And then he gets like Kyle Lowry going. He's got DeMar DeRozan going pretty good. And then they start competing, and I mean, they're in the Eastern Conference Championship. They run into LeBron. I mean, that's going to happen. But then, like, they could never get over that hump against the Cavs.
Yeah.
And then they fire him. And, I mean, he just won Coach of the Year, and they fire him, bring in Nick Nurse, and then they win a championship. First year with him. Yeah. I'm not saying that we're going to win a championship if we get rid of Stoops or anything like that. I'm not even saying we should because, I mean, Stoops and the boys, they could get this season turned around. But I'm just saying, like, if that's kind of the feeling I'm getting, it's like not necessarily he's bad and we're a bad team. It's just like maybe something new should be good. I mean, we could still be just feeling, you know, we're 2 weeks into a new offense. I'm doing it myself. I'm talking myself out of it. We're 2 weeks into a new offense. You got to get a few weeks into that. And, I mean, that's the one bad thing about going into a new offensive scheme with a brand new quarterback and mostly a new line.
Yeah.
And new running back room, pretty much, entirely. And you're going into that week 2 against an SEC opponent instead of, like, our normal schedule where we would have 4 cupcake teams and then play Georgia, you know? So we've not really had much time. And like week 1, it was cut short. We played 2 quarters. So we've not really even, we've played 1 full game. We've played a game and a half. And then we got to play Georgia. So, I mean, we've not really saw what this offense is actually capable of because they've not really got through the kinks and stuff.
Yeah. I see some comments here talking about Stoops.
We got a lot of comments.
Throw those picks Vandergriff did. Yeah, I know Vandergriff threw them, but when you're a quarterback and you're getting hit every single play, that takes a big toll on a quarterback because you got to be worried about, oh, well, if I'm getting hit, I can't fumble the ball when I'm trying to throw. Especially for Brock Vandergriff, who has never played in a SEC game or environment before. I know it wouldn't like in South Carolina's favor, but I mean,
Yeah.
you're playing your first time in an SEC defense, which is going to be tough for anybody that's never done it before at all.
Yeah.
So, and yeah, I do blame Stoops, but I also blame your offensive coordinator a lot more than anybody out of all of them.
That's a fair point.
He did,
coach.
and your offensive line and coach, they did a terrible job getting them ready for this game. And there's some of the play calling, I ain't going to talk about it too much like that, but I mean, some of the play calling, none of it made sense to me, some of it. So, Besides that one drive where he ran the ball really good, couldn't even get into the end zone with it. You had an interception at the beginning of the third quarter for your offense to get momentum, get in the end zone, give your team momentum to take the lead. Or not take – well, would we have taken the lead? We would have tied it. We would have tied it, wouldn't we have?
We'd had to go for 2.
Yeah.
I think it was 6 to.
I thought we had
14.
3. Oh, I thought they had only 10 at halftime.
At halftime, it was 10-6.
Yeah, well, so we would have taken the lead there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
If that's
right.
and so speaking of that, I don't know if you've seen, there's been some replays going around on Twitter and stuff. There was a fumble that I don't even remember what player it was, and I'd have to go back and look, but it's the fundamentals. You fall on that ball. One of Kentucky's players missed that fumble recovery that, we'd been, right in driving range, and that could have, the whole momentum of that game could have turned.
Mm-hmm.
It was Tyrese Freebie.
Freebie.
Yeah.
Which he's young. He's young.
Yeah. And that's some of the things that's gonna happen when you have a younger guy out there. I mean, they're gonna hiccup here and there. But I mean, that game was so heartbreaking because of everything that was up with that game too. It was like, the hype was there. Kentucky's got this really good team. South Carolina just barely squeaked out a game against Old Dominion.
Yeah.
Last week we all predicted blowouts. Like Max Duffy, he predicted a blowout. We predicted blowouts. I mean, we were just expecting this offensive hoorah for the Cats and the defense just to go out there and just punch them right in the mouth. And we keep hearing game day's coming if we win, and we're like, oh, we're getting game day here versus Georgia. And then they just go in there and lay an egg, and it's just like, man, what happened?
Yeah.
Okay, so someone said lots of people were saying that on Saturday that his mind was in College Station and that he looked high. I don't think that his mind was in College Station. I think a lot of that is gone. I think he's just trying to worry about keeping his job right now.
Yeah.
I don't think that was the case. And talking about Brandon here, he had one of the best offensive lines at Alabama last year. But he did coach I thought he had one of the best offensive lines last year. Wolford, did he not?
No, it was one of the worst.
Oh, was it?
Talent, maybe it was he might have had it's Bama. He might have a lot of 5 stars, but it graded horribly.
Oh, well, I always assumed
it was one of the worst, and then that's why I was saying.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I want the offensive line coach that had the worst offensive line in the SEC, but no, it's just me.
Sorry, Brandon, you were correct. I was wrong.
Yeah, I thought you were just saying the tier of the linemen. That's how I was taking.
Oh, well, the tier of the linemen, yeah, they had really good offensive linemen. When you look at talent wise, but they just didn't work and coach right.
Yeah, and the way he left too, it kind of baffles me that we brought him back. Because it was just thief in the night. He's gone.
Yeah.
And
because who was it last year? Was his name? Was it East?
Yinzer,
because he come from the 49ers. Yeah, that was it. That was it.
And I want to speak on that real quick, and then I'll let you guys take it. But the thing that I've seen with this team ever since 2021, the best word I know to describe all of this is inconsistency. I mean, there's been no consistency when you're talking about coordinators, when you're talking about position coaches. It there has been nothing to build on in 3 years, and that's I don't care who you are. You can't have a successful program, and I'm not saying it's all Stoops' fault. I'm not saying it's anybody's fault, but this inconsistency you cannot build on. It's impossible as a football program.
The only consistency that Kentucky program wise has had is Brad White. That's the only consistency that we've had. And when we all know, and Vince and Brad White, probably the two best coaches. Now I will say I think I can't really say his last name. Is it Ballwire?
Running back.
He is a running back coach and he's a special team coordinator.
Yes,
I think he's a good coach as well. And so I think those are you three key guys. If you're Kentucky and you're trying to get rid of your staff, trying to rebuild everybody around it, I think those are the three guys you keep. That's just my opinion. But it is, and I don't know. And I was reading this comment. It says that's what we get for hyping us up too much after beating on a terrible Southern Miss team. I wasn't hyping myself up too much because we beat Southern Miss.
You were hyping yourself up. I mean, Cody, you're a top tier lineman.
I don't think it was. I think a lot of it was, how the roster looked and what you should do. What you should have done to South Carolina is what they did to you. Basically, you probably should have put more points than what they did. But I think a lot of it was, we've got a good quarterback coming in from Georgia. Our defenses, we got an experienced defensive line, experienced linebacking core, a good secondary since a while. Then your wide receiver room looks like one of the best in the country. And then your offensive line looks okay. We've seen their true colors last Saturday, but It's disappointing, but I'm not going to give up too early on them. They could do something that like what we said on the Twitter space. If you guys are on Twitter listening, we do a Twitter space every week. It's run by Janson and one of the Freddies, Bush. He runs it, but we talk about football. We talked about this yesterday, that it would be the most Kentucky thing ever to win by a field goal Saturday. It really would. And guess what? And it's not going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if that does happen, everybody that's hating on Stoops, everybody that's hating on the program, they're all going to flood back. Oh, we're going national championship. We're going national championship. No.
I mean, if you beat Georgia, Georgia's Georgia. Like, you could go like 2-10. If you got that one win against Georgia, you're going to be talking so much crap for the next like 15 years. Against them going into that game. Like, you remember that game we beat them by a field goal at Kroger? Like that's how it's going to go if we beat Georgia.
Now, is somebody going to take their shirts off with me and run on the field if we beat Georgia? Will anybody join me? And nobody? Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to leave my statement that I made on that Twitter space. I'm not going to, I will do something to that nature.
Hey boys, we're going streaking if we beat. No, I'm kidding. I'm joking. 100% joking. Just joking. No,
I got the Cats cut flag. What's that?
We'll go Baker Mayfield that thing.
Yeah, on the Georgia side. What is that thing? It's SpongeBob. It's where Patrick is like. He's got something in his butt cheeks or whatever.
Oh man,
that would be me with a Cats cut flag.
Oh my god.
Hooray for SpongeBob!
Yay for SpongeBob!
Oh my god!
Yay for Stoops! Oh gosh!
But it's. I hope we come out and we look like a total different ball club Saturday, because and do you think? I mean, I'm not being whatever, and I'm not just saying this to maybe just give me some hope here. But like, do you think the 3:30 might have, like, the kickoff might have threw them off a little bit, because we don't play 3:30 much?
I don't know. I don't want to blame it on it. personally, if it was like a noon game, then maybe noon games are hard. I don't care, who you are. You have to get up, and get prepared, and things like that. But with it being 3:30, I don't think that plays a whole lot into it.
Come
Personally,
on, Jansen. Just fade into it so we don't think about it as bad of a loss as it was.
okay.
We're gonna blame it all on that 3:30 kickoff.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. It was stupid ABC.
Yeah, exactly. We hate them. We hate them. That's exactly what it was. But so how are we feeling about the defense? We've talked a little bit about it, but we've not talked a lot about it. Jake, we'll let you start this off. How are we feeling about Kentucky's defense right now?
There were moments Saturday when you thought, okay, this defense is going to have a lot of potential. And then there was just some moments. There were so many blown coverages. Like anybody could have caught some of those passes. They were so wide open. They could have built an entire campground. They were so open. So it's hard to tell this early. Again, there were good moments, but there was a lot of bad moments as well.
I agree.
Yep.
Jansen, what are your thoughts on the defense so far?
Defense was I've seen better in years past, but the run block, not block, but the run game, protecting against the run wasn't terrible. The prevent defense on third and 10, 12, 15, whatever you name you, it's still an issue, and I don't know if that's a Brad White thing. I don't know if it's just playing too scared to give up that big game. I don't know, but that's the only thing that I've had issues with the defense in the last 2 or 3 years is just this mindset of not playing on your man. If you can't be scared to get up and next to someone's grill, and if you get beat, you get beat. That's fine. But you can't play off of them. You can't. If you are one of these best, DB safeties in the league, and if you're playing in the SEC, you got to get up personal with them. You can't play off of them. That's just my thing.
I like that. We've talked about that a few times. Like last week, me and Cody was talking about that a little bit about the Southern Miss game. We were talking about like the prevent defense. It feels like we're dropping back 4 DBs. Like super deep, like on a 3rd and like 10 or something, and it's like, what are we doing here? Like, rush 4 or 5, put a little pressure on them, and drop your other guys in man coverage, and have 2 safeties deep. Like, just just do like a normal defense would instead of playing prevent on 3rd and 10 or something. But Cody, let's hear a little bit about your take on the defense.
I think your defensive line was the star of the game. They had like 3 tackles for a loss, and they were getting to the quarterback. It's just that quarterback can scramble. Both of them, they put out 2 quarterbacks, and they were doing that to us. But anyways, but your defense, they did good there for the first half, but your defense can only do so much if your offense isn't helping.
Yeah.
Your defense saved you from a touchdown when you went for it on 4th and 1 and didn't get it. They saved you a touchdown basically, and only gave up 3 points. And like what Jansen was saying earlier with Tyrese Freeby, should have had the fumble. That could have changed the game a lot. There's so many we can talk about the defense a lot. It's so hard to because how bad the offense did.
True.
But, and I think some of that kind of pulls over to the defense, like you're saying, Cody. I think they were gassed. Like, like after about the 3rd straight 3 and out that the offense had, when your defense is out there, probably out of like the first quarter, I'd say they were out there probably 7-8 minutes of that. And a lot of that was just a lot of the time on the clock was just them waiting to huddle up and get the play going. Because South Carolina, they were just boom, boom, boom. Like it really felt like their offense clicked pretty well. And then Kentucky, like they took 10 years to get up to the line for some of it. And I thought we were supposed to have a really quick offense, but they showed a little bit of that. but not as much as like they acted like going into the season. But
Hey, I want to jump in here real quick. So I had something come up. I'm gonna have to take my place and stuff like that. So I hate to do that too, but I gotta dip out for a little bit. So
you're
Oh,
good,
that's
brother.
cool, dude. We appreciate you getting on here with us.
all right. No,
Real quick before you go, plug your stuff real quick.
Yeah.
so I'm Janson Hoskins. I'm just a beat writer for catscoverage.com. You can follow me on Twitter and things like that. So I appreciate you all. Shout out to State Line, of course. Appreciate all the things they do. But hopefully you guys will have me back on here in the future.
For sure. Jansen,
Yeah.
you take care.
Yeah.
Be
Take care,
safe.
bub.
All right. Have a good one. Have a good
Hey,
night,
man.
guys.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
See you, brother. But yeah, our defense. I mean, it kind of. I mean, I don't really put a lot of the blame. I mean, they had some like you said earlier, Jake. They had some busted coverages, and I mean, there's a few like the first touchdown they scored. Like, I mean, they walked in scotch free, like nothing, nobody even near them.
Yeah.
And I mean, there was a few of those coverages, but it felt like our defense. I mean, it was just constantly out there. Like we were 3 and out, and I mean, we might get a first down here, and then get have a 3 and out in that next series. But it was just like we really couldn't get anything offensively going, and I think that really hurt the defense, and it just really started the show in that second half.
Yep.
Yeah, and you know, it's just it's a little worrisome because as we were so hyped going into that game, and we all kind of thought we were gonna win, it just really scares you when you got Georgia next on that schedule.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know, man. Georgia's Georgia, and they got Carson back and one of the best defenses in the nation. And they're ranked number 1 for a reason. But yeah, Clyde just said I still can't believe we didn't score a touchdown. And I can't believe that either.
Yeah.
We didn't score one in garbage time.
Yeah.
It's pitiful.
Oh gosh, yeah.
But
Very pitiful.
yeah, it's so going into the Georgia game.
Mhm.
We'll talk a little bit about that because I mean, number 1 team in the nation. You know, out of the last 3 years, they've won 2 national championships. How are we feeling going into this Saturday night game versus?
Is that a question?
Yeah, let's hear it. Let's get into it.
Even if we had beaten South Carolina 31-6, I would still have been nervous coming into this Georgia game. I just don't see it happening. I mean, I'd love to be proven wrong. I would love to be proven wrong. But I just don't see it happening. I'm still going to root for them even if we lose. But it's just we're outnumbered, we're outmatched, we're outcoached in every aspect of that game against Georgia.
Yeah.
I just don't know unless Georgia just absolutely plays as bad as we did against South Carolina. That's the only way that I see that happening.
Yeah, Cody, let's hear it, man.
Sorry. I was dead so. You'll know what I was doing here in just a second on Twitter, but it's just you know I like what Jake said. I mean, you're out coached in every aspect. They've got better players. Obviously, it's Georgia. They're going to do this every year to you.
Yeah.
And I mean, do we play them close at home? For some reason, we always do. Don't ask me why we do. I don't know why we go there and then to Georgia. When we go to Georgia, we get killed. They come to Lexington, we play them good. Then they usually they run away with it. But I don't know. We'll see. I like what someone said about. I'm not saying we're gonna win, but I like hearing when Rich Brooks beat number 1 LSU. Guess who they lost to the week before? They lost to South Carolina when they shouldn't have. So I'm not saying anything, but no, I'm not gonna hype myself up.
Yeah.
Like I've told Christian, I'm gonna go to the game. I don't care if it's raining. I'm gonna get me an ice cream. I'm gonna forget my wallet and let him pay for it. But
Wow.
Of course.
I'm just joking. But I'm just gonna enjoy the game. I just in general, for me, I love just watching football. That's all. I really do like watching football.
And here's another thing is that what I told Cody last week. I was like, we can come into this game, I mean, I would love to see a win. I mean, you should go into every game just hoping for a win. But I told him I was like, we could do a little prospect hunting here on this game. It's kind of like what I did against Alabama last year. I didn't expect us to win, but I went and I was like, one of these guys could be a future Cleveland Brown. So I'm gonna look at this game like I'm being a scout for the Browns, so I can introduce somebody new to the Twitterverse for the Browns fans. So, but I really hope we look good. I would love, but that would be a Kentucky thing though, is to go get obliterated by them and then go against Georgia and like give them a game, because that's what we did 2 years ago. Like we got obliterated by Vandy, and then go give Georgia a good game.
We got obliterated by Vandy 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's when Ray Davis was there. And me and Christian, no, we were there. It was snowing and cold. And
We didn't really get obliterated, did we?
Yeah, we got beat pretty bad. It's probably 20-something.
oh, no, it wasn't that bad.
No.
Yeah,
I'm
it
pretty
wasn't
sure
that
We
bad.
lost, but I don't think it was by like a chunk. Not like
No,
40-0.
it was kind of close. It wasn't that bad. Hold on.
Oh, I thought we got obliterated. They
I don't think so.
For some reason, I thought Vandy ran the score up on us.
No,
Bro, I don't know what I was thinking. My bad. It was 24-21 2 years ago.
I'll
But they
find
did
out.
win. But I mean, it's Vandy. But yeah, quad sib, and then we added their running back.
They beat us 24-21. There you go.
Yeah,
No,
3
we were
points.
talking about Ray Davis being on Vandy.
Oh, well, no, I was just telling you the score of it. Sorry.
No, I was. Claude said no. We had
Oh.
C-Rod at running back. I was meaning Vandy had Ray Davis. That's why.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That was C-Rod.
Yeah, we had C-Rod then, but Ray Davis played for Vandy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would really like to see more of the run game, because I really think we're gonna slow the game down. Because that's like how you beat an inferior opponent, is like you slow the game down. You try to keep their offense off the field. It's like you're playing prevent defense on offense, and you're just running the clock.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping we just step up in the run game. I think it'd be awesome to see a guy like Jason Patterson get his first touchdown. It'd be cool to see DSK get a lot of carries. But yeah, I mean, I want to see him give him at least a game. I'm not expecting a win. I just want to see a game. Tommy said we had our chance at the win. Defense lineman pulled the helmet off of an offensive lineman, and they kept the ball. We lose.
Yeah, Tommy, you're exactly right. Like that one fumble that Janson was talking about just a little bit ago. I mean, you got to recover that fumble. I mean, if I wish we could show the picture, but I mean, the ball is literally in front of him, and he didn't get that. You had an interception there at the beginning of the third quarter. Couldn't get into the end zone. I mean, there's so many little things that happen in the game. We're talking about the offensive line, not playing good. But you had those two things, and I mean, there were so many other little things, like just bad miscues, like that first touchdown South Carolina had. What in the world are our safeties doing on that play? Like they looked lost on that first touchdown that South Carolina had. Like he was wide open. Like it doesn't make any sense to me how you let somebody that wide open on a play have the coverage just busted that bad. But I mean, it was just like we've talked about this. It was so aggravating, and I can't stand talking about it because it just gets me so frustrated. But
Yeah.
you all.
Yeah, it's hopefully the season turns around. Don't know where Jake went, but I guess he'll be back here in just a second.
And Clyde, I agree with you. By the way, I don't think you can play a slow game anymore. I think you have to be fast tempoed.
Yeah, you do.
And
but what I'm saying is you got you know what I mean. Like you got to just try to keep their offense off the field as much as you can.
You got to keep momentum. Like
You can keep momentum,
and it's also
run the wishbone. Run the wishbone. I'm just kidding. That wouldn't work. But you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's just.
I mean, we've never been able to really throw the ball. I don't know why we just don't go back to the good old ground game. Like just run the ball. Like that's what I think. I hear every team say that. Like unless you got like a star-studded quarterback like a Patty Mahomes or you know what I mean, like a really like a Quinn Ewers or a
Jaden
Carson
Daniels,
Beck,
Joe
Jason-
Burrow. Yeah.
No, nobody likes Joe Burrow.
Okay. Sorry that you don't like Joe Burrow.
He's awful. I'll say it. I don't care. I'll offend all the Cincy fans.
You're offending me. I am a Cincy fan.
No, you're not.
That is my second team. It is.
Okay.
It would be
got-
my second team.
Whatever.
And then the Titans would be my next one in line. But
I've got one of the Bryans. But anyways, but like unless you have like one of them really, really good quarterbacks, it feels like every team's just like, let's just run the ball. And I feel like we got a pretty good running back room. And like once we get Chip back, I think we can be able to like just pound on the ground game more. But I don't know, man. It feels like as a Kentucky fan, it's just like been a gut punch. And it just sucks. Like I hate these gut punch games.
Yeah.
Because then, like, I mean, we had a discussion, like, talking about Stoops getting gone, and like, it sucks when you have to have those discussions, and you're just like,
This is
which
very
I don't,
true.
I mean, I would like to see a change, maybe not at the coaching, but I just want to see us continually be good. I want to see us compete in the SEC.
Yeah.
If that means a coach change or I don't know what has to happen, but I just want to be able to compete. I mean, if Stoops can get it turned around and we're talking natty with Stoops, I'm cool with that. I just want to win. I'm tired of losing.
yeah, I am. I'm right there with you. Right there with you.
Yeah, but as we continue and as we begin to wind this episode down, let's get a little score prediction, boys. Well, how are we feeling? Score prediction.
Can
Go ahead, Jake. Go ahead, man.
I expect the worst and then gladly say that I'm wrong?
Yep.
Go ahead.
That's what I was going to do. I'm actually going to say 30-3, Georgia.
Okay.
And it's going to be one of those games where they could have scored a lot more, but they just don't.
Yeah, I get that. Cody?
27, 24, Cats.
Okay.
No.
You
Joke.
can't be- you said
Oh,
it. You said
I was
it.
gonna say
You
10 to
said it.
13 Kentucky. 10-13 Kentucky.
10-13 Kentucky. Okay. We got to make a score graphic. Make a score
That's
graphic.
fine. I got it.
Make it right now and you put yourself. I'm going to say Georgia 42, Kentucky 14.
I like it.
That seems more accurate than mine, to be honest.
I think we get garbage touchdowns because they're going to pull their third string defense out there.
I don't even know if we will, dude.
I think we get a rushing touchdown this week. I think our offensive line will look a shade better.
I hope so.
God said 70-3 Georgia.
That's what the score should be.
The reason I'm laughing is because that could very well happen.
Man,
It
like
could.
honestly, if
And David's ears could happen too. Like it's
I mean, I could see. I'm saying 42-14. I'm just being wishful with those 14 points. I think that was a score to the 2021 game versus us at Georgia. But I don't think any team scored a touchdown on them yet. But, I mean, I don't know many people that are very excited. Like, Tommy just said 65-3 Georgia. I'm hoping for the mercy rule. Are they going to turn a running clock on? Is that going to be the... I mean, I hate that we're talking like this.
I mean, you have
wanna be
to. I
good.
mean, you have to as a Kentucky
I want to
fan.
win. I'm tired of losing.
I know.
I'm tired of this, Grandpa.
Oh, it's too bad, man. It's too bad. That's Kirby Smart saying that.
Exactly.
It's too bad, Mark. Too bad. I'm so
But,
tired.
Yeah. But okay, so Cody, you're in charge of that score graphic. 42-14 Georgia. You had 13-10 Kentucky. Top them up. Top them up in
That's
the
what
chat.
I got there.
And Jake, you said 30-3. Is that right?
Yeah, I said 30-3.
Okay. So Cody, you're in charge of that graphic.
What was yours, Christian?
42-14 Georgia.
And what was yours, Cody? Oh, wait, never mind. Got it.
So
Okay.
you
I'll
got
work
it.
on it.
Okay.
I'll work on it here in a little while.
Sweet. But as we begin to wind down, you know how we always end it with the Bible verse. Cody, do you
Yo,
have
nope, not yet. I'm looking. Sorry.
you're
The
looking.
last thing I do. You all go
The
ahead.
last- Cody.
I enjoy listening to you all. You go ahead. I'll find mine. I think I just found it. So you all go ahead.
All right, you found it. Let's hear
No,
it.
wait, no, never mind.
Cody.
I don't know which one to do. You all go ahead while I'm looking.
Cody, come on, you gotta be more prepared.
I'm sorry. I'm never prepared. You should know that by now.
I know. But I know Jake. Jake's usually prepared. He's on the ball.
I try to be.
Let's hear it, Jake.
I got James chapter 1, verse 2 in lieu of what's happened this past few days. My brethren, count it all joy when you fall into various trials. And verse 3 says, knowing that the testing of your faith produces patience. And I know it's really hard to say as a Kentucky fan, but it's so true.
It is.
Yep. So I've got Proverbs 2:2, turning your ear to wisdom and applying your heart to understanding. That's just, when you start to get a lot of good information and wise people are giving you stuff, like just giving you wisdom, you should really take that and apply it to your life. And if it's like even with your job or just anything in life, like when you're trying to learn a position at work and like you got somebody above you and they're giving you all this wisdom, you should really soak that up and just apply that to your life. And like I try to do that as much as I can. Like when people that are a little bit older than me that are giving me like life advice, like on certain things, like just as we begin to get a little older, I try to like take bits and pieces of what I hear from different like viewpoints and gather all that information and just begin to apply that. And it's just like even in church, like when people are giving you like spiritual wisdom and giving you like their perspective on stuff like that they've went through in life, when you get that information and it works for you, like if let's say me and Cody are dealing with some of the similar things and say I'm a few years older and Cody comes to me and I give him some advice, and if it helps, I mean, he should take some of that and apply it. I'm not saying me and Cody could go through the same things or not. I mean, we may, who knows. But like in that instance, like if you're a pastor or somebody you look up to in the church and they're giving you some advice in a problem or an area you might be dealing with something, and sometimes God puts those people in your way and for that wisdom, because like me, I'm a visual learner. Sometimes when I like read stuff, I'll be honest, I don't absorb how it's supposed to be took. And you probably understand that when I read some of these verses, half the time I sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. But like some things, it's just like you gotta hear that wisdom and really apply it, because some people that are a little bit older than you that have that wisdom have been through that and they're giving that to you so you don't make the same mistakes they do.
It's good.
Yeah, I like that. I do. My verse is Ephesians 4:32, and it says, "Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, as God in Christ forgave you." And I just want to say this: Hey, Mark,
You forgive him?
as a Christian man, I forgive you. I love you. I hope you turn your heart to the Lord if you haven't already. I love you, man. I know you're not going to see this, but no, I do.
I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing.
I know.
No.
No.
It's just the way you said it.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Mark.
I was thinking
Hey,
the
Mark.
same
I
thing.
love you. Like,
Hey, bud.
it was-
Hey, man. Hey, buddy. You doing okay? No, but I like that verse. But
Yeah.
it's I know there's a lot of things that happen in our lives. I know I don't know everything that happens in your all's life, but people get pretty aggravating sometimes. Yeah, no, not you.
me. I'm aggravating.
No, but I mean it's
That's Shelby. I'm pretty aggravating.
It's us as Christians, we try to be examples of what Christ was and what he still is. And it's so difficult to be kind to other people, especially when they're not kind back to you. But we gotta show the Lord's love and everything. We gotta be kind and loving to everybody. And like I said, it's very hard. I know you all know how that is. It's really, really hard. And yeah, praying for London, man. And that just
Laurel
that
County.
whole and that in that area, dude. And pray for the law enforcement and everybody that's involved with all that, dude, for real, because that's a dangerous situation that's happening there, and hopefully they catch them really, really soon. So
yeah, for sure. So yeah, prayers out to everybody in Laurel County, and hopefully everything they find them, like you said, Cody. Hopefully they get all that took care of. And before we go, anybody else got anything else?
man, no, not really.
We got her.
We got it good. We got it.
We got it, ladies and gentlemen. We
got them.
All righty. And thank you guys for tuning in. If you like this episode, go follow us on all our social media platforms, or Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Twitter /X, Instagram, Facebook, and everywhere else. We're on
YouTube.
YouTube and all of your favorite podcasting places. So
Tommy,
we
appreciate
love you,
it.
Tommy.
We love you, Tommy.
We're gonna get you a Cat's Cut flag here soon. You can wave it at the tailgates at Gina's and Tommy's tailgating services at 606. Even though they don't have a tailgate service, unless you want them to, they might be able to help you guys out.
I mean,
give you instructions.
They got the food. I'm telling you, they
charge
$15
million. I think they might with the promotion of Cat's Cut Podcast. You use that QR code, you can get $15 million off. But thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate you guys, and as
we appreciate Janson for being on here.
Yes, Janson
and Brian.
Awesome.
Appreciate Brian. Don't forget, if you're in this area, 106.3, the big one, Saturday, 10 o'clock, 10 a.m. Don't miss it.
Yep. And
always enjoy.
And Jake.
Jake, yeah.
Jake just
Jake,
feels like,
I'm sorry.
Jake just feels like I see Jake more than I see a lot of my family. So
Jake.
I just feel like you are my family, and you just feel like normal.
Oh no, what I do?
What have you done?
I can't hear. What happened? Jake, I know you can't hear me, but I love you. I'm so sorry. I forgot about you. Please don't be mad at me. I'm so sorry. And as always, ready?
Go Cats.
Can I go? Can I do it? I can't hear you, so I don't.
Go Cats.
Go Cats.
Am I good to do it? Go.